All right. We are live. Danny is about to die. He's hungover as hell. We are going to watch these games, well, at least some of them in person together today. So we're a little hyped up here.
I probably got to come for halftime for the Cowboys game.
Cowboys play at 1 or at 4?
1.
True. Okay. I was just gonna get there at 1 probably.
Yeah, because I got to drive too.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. You could always leave early after the during the live stream because I mean I'm probably only gonna stay for the 1 o'clock games, maybe a bit of the 4 o'clock ones. I'm not sure yet.
That's fair. Yeah. I'll probably come at halftime. That's probably the best, like timing wise. But
fair enough. All right, Brock was the first one in here. Hey, boys, I'm sure you're going to get this question 20 times, but do we start CMC? My only other options, Chenault or Cobb. If those are your options, yes, you start CMC.
Yeah, you take the chance at that point.
Yeah. Also, Bush, you got to feel good starting Hines this week. Yeah, I'd feel better if I didn't have 70 million other injuries, but I definitely feel good knowing that Hines dropped, 18.5, I think, in my league scoring for me this week on Thursday night.
You said you were starting Hines and somebody, right? Or RBs?
Javonte.
Oh, yeah.
J-Rob's out by the looks of it. I got to move Hyde up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to touch my rankings a little bit, too.
Yeah, I have in the listener league, I have no Hopkins and no J-Rob, which is not going to be fun.
Yeah, my team reeks in that league. It's so bad.
Trying to figure out where to put Hyde here. I'm going to put him just ahead of James Conner at RB 26. I got to move Elijah Mitchell down because it sounds like he's going to be limited to some degree. Move him down to 25 or 24. Anyway, Jay says, sup boys, pick one, Claypool, Tony, Judy, or Manny Sanders. I want to say I have Emmanuel Sanders the highest out of these guys.
Claypool for me.
I'm looking at my rankings right now. I have Emmanuel Sanders the highest out of these guys. I would go with Emmanuel Sanders here, personally. Yeah. Claypool, him and Claypool are really close. I have Sanders at 22 and Claypool at 24, and then I have Judy at 25 as well, and I have Tony at 30. So it's a pretty close decision, but I personally would go with Emmanuel Sanders, especially if you need kind of like a ceiling type of performance, because I just think this Jacksonville defense is going to get shredded by Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, I agree.
What's up, guys? Appreciate the advice. Dylan Pollard or Jeff Wilson Jr. Give me Tony Pollard there, Mo.
Yeah. I agree with the fact that the Bills are going to run them, but I personally would still go with Claypool slightly. But in terms of this question, I would also go with Pollard.
Yep. Is Amari playing? Yeah, it sounds like he's playing. It sounds like Lamb is also playing as well.
Yep, both are active.
Need 3, Devontae Adams, Cooks, Marquise Brown, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods. Okay, this is a pretty tough decision, to be honest. So Adams is obviously in your lineup. Marquise Brown, I would say, is also a lock for this question, and just a matchup that he has. It's going to be between Cooper and Cooks, most likely for me. You taking Cooper?
Yeah, the hamstring has been an issue basically all season. So like the fact that he wasn't practicing or he was limited in practice, that's just natural maintenance that they've been doing with this hamstring. I mean, this is a guy that
I guess, but is there a concern? Do you make a tiebreaker to Cooks because he could re-aggravate it during the game and play, because he's done that in the past? I think I would go Cooks just because of that risk that you're dealing with.
And if he wasn't already dealing with it this year, the hamstring, although it's been made an issue this week, he's been dealing with it basically all year. I mean, even in the Minnesota game where he went off, you see times where he would go on the sideline, roll out his hamstring, and then come back in the game. So I think it's just a lingering thing. I don't think it's going to actually affect him too much. And for that reason, I mean, I think Amari Cooper, obviously from a ceiling perspective.
I don't want to discount Woods either, because Woods has a really good matchup as well.
Yeah, against the Titans. Yeah, I would go with Cooper though.
I'd go Cooks, Hollywood, and Devontae Adams just because of the potential that Cooper re-aggravates it and misses, the second half of the game or something like that.
For me, I'd go Cooper for Cooks.
Yep. Mitchell says, "Hey boys, full PPR. Who should I start between CJ Uzomah or Pat Freiermuth?" Honestly, that's kind of like a close call. They're both fringe top 12, 13 to 15 type of tight ends. I would say this week, I'd personally go with Freiermuth in full PPR just because he has more, target potential and more reception upside. CJ Uzomah is more of a big play, touchdown or bust type of guy. So in a full PPR league, I'd probably go with Pat Freiermuth. I think he just has more upside to catch more passes than what CJ Uzomah presents.
Yep, that's fair. I agree.
What's up, boys? Jones Jr., Devontae Smith. I think I have Devontae Smith higher than Marvin Jones right now. Actually, I have Marvin Jones at 28, but I'm actually going to move Devontae Smith higher because I haven't adjusted Devontae Smith since we heard news that both Asante Samuel Jr. and Michael Davis are out for the Chargers defense, which is a big deal. Obviously, it's the two starting corners on the outside.
Is Josh Jacobs playing?
Josh Jacobs?
Yeah.
I think so. I didn't hear he wasn't. Why?
Okay, because he was super low in the consensus when I like inputted these rankings.
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, I mean, he probably when you inputted the consensus, he was probably still dealing with the chest injury or whatever. So
okay, fair.
yeah. Okay. Who should I start, Murray or Tannehill? I don't think Kyler's going to play personally, so I'd probably just go. I mean, Tannehill plays at 8, so you're fine. You can wait on Kyler. If Kyler does play, then start Kyler. But because you have Tannehill going at 820, you're fine. You just start Tannehill if Kyler doesn't play.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Tom says, morning, boys. Need an RB2 and a flex between Chase Edmonds, Elijah Mitchell, Damian Harris, and Mike Williams. So my RB2 there is Chase Edmonds. With Elijah Mitchell, reportedly dealing with, his injury that he's dealing with and going to be limited, and Jeff Wilson Jr. is also making his debut this year. I personally would start Chase Edmonds over Elijah Mitchell.
I prefer Damian Harris to Chase Edmonds, though.
Damian Harris has one of the best run defenses in the league, the Carolina Panthers. So I don't want to start Damian Harris, period, if I can help it. And I think these options are better. Even Elijah Mitchell, I would start over Damian Harris. So, I think the flex to me is pretty easily Mike Williams.
Yeah, I agree with Mike Williams. Isn't Chase Edmonds also dealing with a chest injury? Or
it's a shoulder injury, but he's fine. He's practicing throughout the week. And if Kyler isn't playing, like Chase Edmonds runs 70-75% of the routes for the Cardinals. So if Colt McCoy is starting, he's less mobile than Kyler Murray. He'll probably check down more. So I'd probably go with Chase Edmonds there, just with the risk of Elijah Mitchell. If Elijah Mitchell was fully ready to go and no Jeff Wilson, I'd probably start him.
Agreed. And quick little side note, but being Bucks and Cowboys fans today, now at the end of the day here, you guys are on bye. We need to take care of business against Denver, but Green Bay's without their quarterback this week. Freaking Arizona's without their quarterback this week. Like, this is huge in terms of the NFC bye number 1 seed type of picture.
Right. I think the Rams are probably going to win tonight, which is obviously going to be big for them that Kyler isn't starting.
Yep, exactly. So we can keep going on.
Fellas, can't tell you how much I appreciate the live stream. Yeah, I appreciate that, Evan. I got a few questions today. Cousins or Carr? I have Kyler out. I would go with Kirk Cousins between him and Carr. Burrow or Dak. I'd go with Dak Prescott there. Yeah. And then also Tony or Claypool. That one's pretty close, but I'd probably go with Claypool there. Tony, dealing with the injury still, he's always kind of like a risk with him. Plus, I think Kenny Golladay is going to play today, so I probably don't want to risk it with Golladay playing as well. Hit that like button. Appreciate that, Javon. Yeah, definitely hit the like button. Listen to Brock and Javon there. Do I start Deontay Harris or Boston Scott? My flex. I'd go with Boston Scott there. I think he has a good matchup against the Chargers. What I kind of talked about on the running back starts and sits video throughout the week is like, I think it'd be kind of hilarious if Kenneth Gainwell had a good week this week, just because the reason Kenneth Gainwell maybe wasn't involved last week is because they were beating the brakes off of the Lions, right? And he's the passing down back. He's the guy that they would use if they're playing from behind. I think there's a far more likely potential for them to be playing from behind against the Chargers than against the Lions last week. So it wouldn't shock me if Gainwell had a good game and Boston Scott was kind of just limited to like a smaller role, but I would still go with Boston Scott. It's a good matchup against a bad Chargers run defense. Could get into the end zone.
I agree there.
Nikki says, Tony, Claypool, CD. I would go with CD Lamb there. If you can only start one, if you can start two, I'd go CD and Claypool.
Yep, I agree there.
I have no running back, so I have to start AP. Hopefully he does good for the Titans. Yeah, I mean, he's not a terrible option. He's inside my top 30 running backs.
Yep.
AP against that Rams front may be tough. Gotta hope he gets a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all you're hoping with Adrian Peterson. But to be fair, like you were kind of hoping that with Derrick Henry too. Like not that it's like a similar comparison, but yeah, AP is not going to break off any long runs like Derrick Henry. He's going to need to get into the end zone to pay off.
Tua's out, eh?
Yeah, Tua is out. Yeah, I had him in I think one or two of my DFS lineups. I had to swap him out. I also had a lot of Jalen Waddle. I might have to thin that out a little bit too. Yeah. Herbert, Mitchell, Javonte, AP, full PPR. Lost Henry and Swift is on bye. I'd probably go Khalil Herbert there. I think he's like, again, Elijah Mitchell being potentially limited. He's not a guy that I'm really comfortable starting when you have an option like Herbert. So I would go with Herbert, even though he does play the Steelers.
Yeah, I know. I agree there.
Morning. Would you start Melvin Gordon or Tony Pollard in a flex non-PPR league? That's really close. I actually have to look at my rankings. I'm pretty sure I have those guys back to back, if I'm not mistaken. I have actually I have Melvin Gordon a little bit higher. So I have Melvin Gordon at 21 and Tony Pollard at 23. So I would go with Melvin Gordon. We've kind of seen him. Unfortunately, he is, for Javonte Williams fantasy managers, he is still the guy there in Denver. So I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon there.
Yeah, I agree with Melvin Gordon over Pollard.
Yeah. Morning, boys. Pick one. Elijah Mitchell, Damian Harris, Adrian Peterson. Yeah, this is like such a shitty decision to make because this would be easily Elijah Mitchell if we knew he was 100%. But again, we're hearing reports that he's going to be limited. Jeff Wilson's making his debut this week. Where do you lean here? I don't have like a strong conviction about anything here.
I
think I would go with Damian Harris.
That's where I'm at.
But I don't like it. I think these guys are all really close.
I would go with Harris.
Yeah, Danny is fully dying right now. Jared says Claypool or Julio full PPR. I'd go with Chase Claypool there. I know he should be back to full, strength coming off of his hamstring injury the last couple of weeks, but I'd rather just play Claypool.
Yep, no, I agree there. Though hopefully we do see Julio just going off this week because I have him in my home league, so we'll shout out.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like we got a super.
Oh, beautiful.
Go down to that.
I'll go down to that. Where are we at here? Appreciate that from Robert 499. He says fears of CD being a decoy. Same with Debo if he plays. CD, Devonta, Claypool, half PPR. Thanks. To answer the first question, fear of CD being a decoy? Not necessarily. I mean, the Cowboys have really shown me this year when players are nicked up, when players are dealing with something, they understand the long-term picture of the season. So if CD was not good enough to play today, they would just sit him. I mean, look at Michael Gallup, for crying out loud. He got injured in week 1. They've taken that calf, let it nurture, let it keep on recovering for the past 10 weeks. So to answer that question, if CD plays, which he's going to, I'm perfectly believing in that front office, in that team, that he's out there because he's able to, not out there just to be a decoy. So with that being said, CD,
I think Debo is more likely to be a decoy than CD. And on a pick, we've already heard that they're going to have Kittle on a pitch count. It wouldn't shock me if Debo was on one as well. So if you guys have Ayuk on your bench, I think he's probably a decent start at the wide receiver, 36 range.
Calf confusion, right?
Yeah, it is. I think it's a calf injury, the same one that Kittle was dealing with too. So I don't know. They could mismanage that situation, but I agree. I think CD should be just fine if he's playing.
I know. Why are so many relevant players getting calf injuries now? First it was Michael Gallup in week 1, then Dak 2 weeks ago, last week. Now you got obviously these two 49ers with the Kittle and Debo news. So
yep.
A lot of stuff. But we actually have another super
here. Okay, go ahead.
$1.99, appreciate that. He says Hyde or McNichols for my flex full PPR. Thanks, guys. With J-Rob out, I'm actually going to lean Hyde here.
Yeah, it's a little, both guys are a little sketchy just because we don't know what their roles are going to be. Plus, Hyde specifically has a pretty bad matchup. But I think Hyde, with no J-Rob out there, I'm expecting Hyde to get all of like the receiving work. And if the Jags are playing from behind in this game, he could have a 5-6 target game.
Yep. No, I agree. And I see a lot of like I kind of mentioned it before, but I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and stuff like say, oh yeah, the hype around AP, Fugas, whatever, McNichols. Like, okay, McNichols has been in the league for 3 years and has done nothing. So you really think the coaching staff is going to say, oh,
been in the league for 5 years.
5 years now.
We drafted him in 2017.
That is wild. Mm-hmm. But either way, like if he was actually a good player, if he was actually a good running back, he would have earned a role by now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we literally caught him in his training camp his rookie year. So
did he have attitude problems as a rookie?
Yeah, he did. Who should I start? But everybody likes him because Snoop Dogg was his coach in high school. Who should I start at running back? Jordan Howard, Dearness Johnson, or Brandon Bolden? This is a pretty disgusting decision. Any kind of PPR format, I'm kind of leaning Brandon Bolden here, to be honest, just because Damian Harris is going to have a really tough matchup on the ground. So they might have to, they might not be able to get a whole lot of offense going, which could result in them having to play from behind. And then I kind of like Brandon Bolden in that situation.
I do like Brandon Bolden as well. However, Kareem Hunt's expected out again today, correct?
Yeah, he is. But Dearness Johnson had 7 touches last week. Sorry, not even 7 touches, 7 opportunities last week. And Nick Chubb was coming off of a multi-week injury. So I'm not really high on Dearness Johnson going forward, to be honest. I think he's going to be just, fodder for your team.
Fair. I mean, at the end of the day here, it's slim pickings regardless. I mean, if you want to trust the PPR aspect of Brandon Bolden, because let's be honest here, when I talked about it on the waiver show, like this is a guy that this team trusts in those situations, trusts on those third downs, trusts to be a willing blocker. And as a result, if he's going to be on the field in those situations, he's going to have an opportunity to get the targets, which he has been getting for the majority of the week. So he actually swayed me. I would also go with Brandon Bolden here, but
yeah, Jordan Howard also has all he needs to do is get into the end zone to pay off, but I'm not excited about starting him either. Mo says Bateman or Goddard in the flex. I'd probably go with Bateman. Sammy Watkins is out. I'll probably go with Rashad Bateman there. I got to move him up now in my rankings. I did talk about him as a guy that I'd be sitting mainly because Sammy Watkins was expected to play, but now that Sammy Watkins is going to be out, I think Bateman's a guy that's going to find himself into my top 38 or so wide receivers. I have him at 36. I just moved him.
I got a decent little question for you. So
what's up?
My last flex is the only real position that I'm, thinking about right now, right? So last flex I currently have in is Julio, and I'm more than likely going to play him. But the other options I have, I mean, I have Rashad the God. I have Rondale Moore on my bench, obviously with the news of Hopkins being out and the backup quarterback coming in. So where would you lean? I personally would still go with Julio, but what do you think between Julio, Bateman, and Moore in a half PPR?
I'd probably go with Julio. Yeah, I think Julio is just the safest option there. Rondale could have a better role this week, but it's still a Colt McCoy led offense. Their implied team total is probably 20 points now with him at quarterback. So I'm not overly excited about Rondale Moore. I know he's a huge DFS guy right now. I'm probably going to fade him. I don't think I'm going to play him too much.
His ownership's probably going to be super high with the
It is because he's literally 4,100 on DraftKings, and he's everybody's expecting him to play on the outside. I think AJ Green might be out too.
AJ Green is out.
Yeah, so it's going to be Moore and Kirk. So everybody's excited about that. I tend to just like Chase Edmonds this week. I'm just going to play Chase Edmonds instead.
Fair. I actually forgot AJ Green's out too. I might. Now it's really, really close.
I don't know, man. I'm not overly excited about it. I could be wrong on that one, but I need to put more Chase Edmonds into my lineups, I think.
For sure.
Hopefully anyway, Javon says Diggs or Adams. I wish I had decisions like that to make. Jesus. Adams. I'd go with Diggs. With no Aaron Rodgers, Diggs against the Jags. Give me Diggs there, but I don't know anybody else who has to make a decision like that.
I hope you're right because in my home league I have Diggs and I'm playing Adams. So I hope you're right. And I still would personally prefer Adams.
It's hard to sit Adams for sure. Yeah. I'd like to know who your other options are. You must have Cup and somebody else.
And this is the classic bias when you have someone on your team and they haven't been performing as well. So you're do I temper my expectations for them? Because man, outside of that one game on prime time, Diggs has just kind of been disappointing. So, but yeah, either way, I personally would go Adams. Corey would go Diggs, but you can't go wrong between those fucking two.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like we got another super too.
Another super chat. Appreciate that. We got one from Courtney Brewer. Appreciate that. She says, looking for advice on a quarterback pickup with Murray likely out today. Daniel Jones, Tyrod, Love, Garoppolo, and Bridgewater, all available.
I can answer this question because I had to do this. Not because I had Kyler, but because I had Brady on bye. So I went with Daniel Jones. I was going to go with Jordan Love initially, but I just can't trust a guy that I've never seen play in the NFL so far. I know with Daniel Jones, at least, it's a pretty decent matchup against the Raiders. He should be able to run a little bit. He's also a little sketchy when it comes to trusting him for production as well, but I went with Daniel Jones personally.
I agree with that. I would also go with Daniel Jones here against the Raiders. But yeah, appreciate the $5 super chat.
Yadiel says CMC or DJ Moore. A little Panther on Panther violence there. If you have to make that decision, I'd probably go with DJ Moore. But I'd like to know who else you're starting over CMC because I still think I need to rank CMC right now, but he's gonna find his way into my top 10 running backs, I think.
Yeah. He's currently my 11 right now, but I'm looking at him versus Chubb, it's close.
Yeah, I gotta move fucking Chuba Hubbard down a lot.
Oh yeah, I moved him down to 35.
Yeah. Is Montgomery expected to play?
I don't think so.
He doesn't have an out or questionable tag.
Still chilling on my IR in my league. I know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Montgomery is expected to play.
And hopefully, if that's the case, I can start him in League of Tone Setters.
Yeah. for sure. Okay. Let's go down to the next question here. Can you see the questions?
Yeah, I got you here. I can do that.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, now that I just think about it, the people that we told to start Khalil Herbert, you got to monitor the David Montgomery situation first because he might play. So I can't remember who had the Elijah Mitchell, like Khalil Herbert one. I'd probably go with Mitchell when I said Herbert initially because I kind of forgot that this guy is probably going to play.
What's good? What's good, Justin? Nice seeing you in the chat. Mike Williams or Cole Beasley? Give me Mike Williams there, Parker.
Yep.
Edmonds over Moss, PPR? Yes. Edmonds over Moss.
Yeah, definitely in PPR too.
Ayuk, Pollard, Devonta Smith at flex, PPR. I will go with Devonta Smith here.
I would go with Devontae Smith as well. Yep.
Dak or Burrow? I'd go with Dak. Your name's Dallas. I mean, you gotta go with the Dallas guy, right?
Big fact.
Devonta Smith or Rondale?
Give me Devontae Smith there. I gotta move Rondale up though in my rankings.
That was relatively close though. Yeah.
Yeah. I have where do I have Rondale right now? I have Rondale at 40. I need to move him. Would I start Rondale or Bateman? I'd probably go Rondale if I had that decision to make. Christian Kirk, I got to move up a little bit too.
Yeah.
Anyway, fantasy football live stream. This is an aptly named account here. Who are we believing in rest of the season? Waller or Mark Andrews?
I like Waller.
I'd probably still take Waller. I know he hasn't been quite performing to the level that we've seen out of Mark Andrews, especially those ceiling games. But I'd still go with Waller. The target share is a lot safer, especially with some of the guys getting healthy on the Ravens passing game right now. They could also still sign Odell Beckham Jr. too.
And especially on the flip side, with what's going on with the Raiders right now.
Yeah, I mean, Waller is the only guy that's like, him and Renfro are like the glue of that team.
Yeah, no, amen. But Eric, I just want to quickly say something. Justin alluded to it. Hit the like, everyone. Hit the like and then ask the questions. Yeah, there's currently 78 concurrent viewers in this stream and less than 30 likes. Like, that is a putrid little ratio right there. I want to see next time, the next 10 seconds, that up to 45 likes. So we'll see if you guys can get us there. Let's go.
Yeah, that's true. Is Danny alive? LOL, sleep and hydrate, bro. Yeah, big facts. Tannehill, Tyrod, or Daniel Jones starting Tyrod as of now. I would start Tannehill there.
I would personally.
Too. Yeah, I think with Tannehill having both A.J. Brown and Julio back, no Derrick Henry, the pass attempts should be a little bit up there again. I'm really curious to see how this Titans offense looks tonight because I could see a world where they look, bad and that they can't get much going without a consistent running game. But I could also see a world where they pass the ball and they look the same as they've kind of always been, even without Derrick Henry there.
Yep.
Who's the smash play in DraftKings today? I'll give you one at each price level. My smash play high end is Austin Eckler. There's absolutely no way I'm not playing Austin Eckler in like 90% of my lineups. I have him like 4 times on DraftKings in like the 6 lineups that I'm doing. I don't care. I know he's a great play this week, so I'm playing Austin Eckler a lot. The mid-level plays, some of the guys that I like are Marquise Brown at 6K. I think he is just a phenomenal play. He's going to probably catch a lot of ownership though. So if you don't want to play him because of the chalkiness of it, I understand that. I also really like Amari Cooper now that CeeDee Lamb is playing because I'm sure a lot of people he was going to be like mega chalk if CeeDee Lamb was out. But the fact that CeeDee Lamb is playing, I'm hoping Amari Cooper's ownership gets a little suppressed. And I also really like the 2 Bills wide receivers, Sanders and Beasley. And then someone super cheap that I'm playing in a couple spots. I am playing Bateman in one spot. I am playing Rondale Moore in one spot. And then I'm also playing Hunter Renfrow in one spot. But again, those guys are going to catch a lot of ownership because of how cheap they are.
Yep. No, that's a good call. 81 at flex, Judy, Tony, or Harris. I will go with Jerry Judy here.
Yeah, I'd go with Jerry Judy there as well. Renfro or CMC, give me CMC there. Like if that's your option, give me CMC for sure.
Yeah.
Hyde or Devontae. Is this supposed to be Javonte or is that Devontae Smith?
I think it's Javonte Williams.
If it's Javonte Williams, I'll take Hyde. If it's Devontae Smith, I'll take Devontae Smith.
Yep, I agree with that. PPR, handle this.
Yeah, PPR, Boston Scott or Kadarius Toney. Give me Kadarius Toney pretty easily there, especially in PPR. Some fellas, I'm hurting at wide receiver. Should I start Van Jefferson or Bateman? I have Bateman like 2 spots higher. I would go with Bateman slightly, but I think Van Jefferson's also a pretty good start this week. They have just a super easy matchup, and I expect the Rams to probably put up 30 plus points in this game. So starting Van Jefferson's never a bad idea either. Sit one, CMC, Mixon, and DJ Moore. Okay, so this is, the conundrum that I guess you had. I actually think I would sit Mixon.
Really, eh?
Against the Browns, man. The Browns is the second best run defense in the league, according to Football Outsiders.
But the thing is like we don't bet on Mixon for efficiency. We bet on Mixon for opportunity regardless.
For sure, yeah. And I don't want to I'm not that concerned with CMC coming back from the injury. Like I'm a little concerned to the point that I'm going to have him fringe top 10 instead of at 1 where he should be, knowing he gets his full workload. But Mixon's got a really bad matchup, man. I think I would roll with CMC there and DJ Moore. But again, it's all personal preference. Like that game could be lower scoring. So if you want to limit your exposure to that game, if Darnold or whatever isn't playing, you could go CMC DJ Moore and Mixon there. Again, that's a really tough decision to make. I personally would go with the two Panthers.
Yeah, that's fair. By the way, we left off on Justin. We got another super chat over here. We actually got a few super chats. We didn't get the notifications, I guess, but $1 from Steven. Appreciate that a lot. If you have a question, feel free to ask it. We'll try to look through it.
Yep.
We got a $2 from The Recess. I remember Teresa when I first saw the name, but full PPR, Teddy B or Hurts. Hurts keeps hurting me. Still hurts, yeah.
Yeah, this game is supposed to be the highest paced of the slate, of the entire main slate of games. So I think it's pretty easily Jalen Hurts for me. I know he's kind of disappointed relative to what we thought. Last week, they just absolutely blew the hell off of the Detroit Lions, so he didn't really need to do a whole lot. Hopefully that's not the case this week.
Yep. So we got another one from Austin. $1.99. He says, PPR tight end premium, would you start Devontae or Pitts? I'm going Pitts. Honestly, I think
I would do that even if it wasn't tight end premium.
I mean, so like you're getting the tight end premium, you're getting Kyle Pitts, who, in my opinion, rest of the season is probably at minimum a top 3-ish type of tight end rest of the season, give or take. So like, yeah, I love Pitts there. And again, appreciate all of you guys for the support with the donations. But we actually have another one here from Gustavo. 249 Mexican peso. He says, everything good. Thanks to you guys. I went from 0-3 to 5-3. Hey, big ups. Love to hear that. If Debo doesn't play, should I start Landry or Tony? And for flex, Javonte Williams, Mitchell, or Herbert? So the first,
I honestly would start both of those receivers and not flex any of those running backs if that's an option for you. That's what I would do.
If you could start both the receivers, I would do that. If you can't, hypothetically, I don't know, one has to be new. I don't know the rules. Let's just say if you can start both those receivers, do that. If you can't do that, you have to play a running back. I would go with Tony.
I'd go with Mitchell. You're not going to know if you're not going to know if Herbert's going to be alone in that backfield. So I'd go with Mitchell personally.
Tony or Landry, they're probably both going to.
I would start Landry if you have to choose between those two guys.
Yeah, I agree. They're both going to probably be in like the wide receiver 40-ish range in my rankings.
40.
Yeah, give or take.
I think you're underestimating how many or overestimating how many good wide receivers we have this week, because I have both of them inside my top 30.
Let me check. Again, that was just based off of guess. They are currently, I have Landry at 34 and Tony at 35, so I get top 35 for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so is that all the supers that we had there?
Let me just take a look down, and you can get back up.
Yep.
And real quick, I just want to address Vinny. So we have to donate for you guys to answer a question? No. What happens is we read the questions in order, but if somebody super chats, they kind of skip the line.
Right.
And keep in mind, there's 91 people watching right now. So
in order for us to get to all the questions, we would literally have to go like this. Julio.
Yeah.
Bateman. Like we'd have to like legitimately just like give no analysis, and we don't think that's ideal for you guys, because I'm sure some of you have questions about some of these players. It's probably more helpful for us to just talk about them in general than it is to, specifically answer the questions. And if you have a simple start sit question too, we also have our weekly rankings available, which we do based on who we would start and who we would sit if you just, don't want to ask the question, period. Anyway, Julio or Myers, give me Julio Jones there. What are you saying?
Is this where we left off?
No, I got it. Where we left off here.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so Julio or Myers, I would go with Julio Jones there. Philip says Montgomery, Chenault, or Bateman. That's tough, man, because I don't think Montgomery's going to get a full workload.
Given what I know now, I'll go Bateman.
Yeah, given what I know now, I'd go Bateman as well. That definitely could backfire if Montgomery is on the field, 50-60% of the snaps and gets a pretty solid workload. But just erring on the side of caution, I'd go with Bateman there. Is Cousins good to play this week? Yeah, I have him inside my top 12 quarterbacks. I think he's a fine play this week.
try to speed
Woods
up a little
or
bit.
Higgins? I'd go with Woods. I have
Higgins.
Woods pretty high this week.
I go with Higgins personally.
Really, eh?
Yeah, I
That's
mean, like,
surprising. I have Woods at 16. I have him like
really,
really
yeah,
high. Dude, the Titans are just awful against wide receivers.
that's fair. Let me check quickly where I have them both ranked. Okay,
I have him
why
like
is
8 spots, but I have Higgins at 23 and Woods at 16.
yeah, I actually do have Woods a little bit higher. I have Woods at 19 and I have Higgins at 22. So like
For
they're
sure.
still really close for me, but yeah, no, I actually do agree. That's cutting it close though.
Yep. Looks like we got another super too.
Yep. So we left off here at Christian. Mark that down.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
All right. $5 super chat from Steven. Appreciate that. He says, I know you guys answered this last night, but should I be worried about Jeff Wilson and Eli Mitchell committee? Traded for Mitchell based off schedule.
Yeah, I
Today,
would be worried about it personally. It's Kyle Shanahan. Like I'm always worried about that possibility. I know like we've seen Elijah Mitchell for a couple weeks now be the number one guy, but Jeff Wilson's back, Jermichael Hasty's back. I doubt Trey Sermon's going to do anything, but those main 3 guys are going to get their run. They're going to get their roles, and it looks like Hasty has kind of solidified himself as like the pass catching guy, the guy that's going to play in 2-minute drill situations. And we know what Jeff Wilson's been in the past was the goal line guy. So if Elijah Mitchell gets that taken away from him from Jeff Wilson, we're talking about a between the 20s grinder that gets 15 carries, which won't be very valuable for fantasy.
Yeah, no, and I
which is
agree
why
that
I told you guys to sell him this week on Tuesday.
little shout out there, but I do agree again, especially this week because he is banged up. But even like long term, when you look at it, like Kyle Shanahan, as soon as you feel like you have a grip on what he's doing with his backfield, what he's doing with his team, he just throws everything out the window. Because I feel like not just in general, but he always wants to just outsmart everybody. He's like, oh yeah, you guys think I'm going to do it this way? I'm going to do it this way. I don't know. Maybe that's his own way of like trying to prove a point, I guess. But either way, if it was rational coaching, Elijah Mitchell should be the full-on workhorse bell cow back for the rest of the season. But it's freaking Kyle Shanahan.
And it's almost always been like in terms of drafting, it's always been the cheapest option's the best option, Kyle Shanahan's backfield, because,
right?
And we say that for every backfield, and it's not necessarily true in every backfield, but for Kyle Shanahan, you're like, we almost get it wrong every single time. Like it was Matt Breida a couple of years ago, it was Raheem Mostert. We always get it wrong. So to me, like if Elijah Mitchell this time next year's like a 4th or 5th round pick, I'm probably just going to take whoever's like the lower round guy, like Sermon or, Jeff Wilson or whatever.
Facts. But we actually have a couple more supers. But again, appreciate that $5 super chat from Steven. Got a couple. Zach, yeah, feel free to leave a question. We'll try to scan it and get to it as quickly as possible. Appreciate that $1.99. Another Zach, back to back Zach. That rhymed too. $2 super chat. He says sit 1.5 PPR Deontay Woods Cooks. I personally would sit Cooks out of this group.
I would also sit Cooks. Yeah, I would as well.
Yep. And again, appreciate that $2 super chat. Another one from Boy Dad. He says flex PPR, Peterson, Bateman, or Myers. In a PPR league, I'll actually lean Bateman here.
Yeah, I'll go with Bateman. I'd love to say play Jacoby Myers in a full PPR league. He just doesn't have a high ceiling at all. Like he's simply like a Tyler Boyd, Juju Smith-Schuster at this point, where you're going to get probably 5 for 40, but we know he isn't scoring. Like it's just not it's not exciting playing Jacoby Myers. So give me the upside of Bateman there.
Yeah, and at least like what we've seen with Bateman before the bye is he was getting a good allotment of snaps. He was playing in the high snap percentage I was talking about on the waiver show. And the targets have been there.
They've been a lot more valuable than Myers targets too.
Absolutely. So, and again, with Peterson, I think he could end up being a really solid RB2, but I just kind of want to see it 1 week before I thrust him into my lineup. And keep in mind, this guy was on the street for the last 8 weeks of the year. Like, I want to put him in with confidence, but I just want to see how this Titans offense looks without Derrick Henry before I just, trust him, even over a guy like Bateman, who I think has got plenty of upside this week. But Zach, actually,
there's also a risk. Sorry, before you get into that Peterson does get kind of phased out of this game plan. We have the Rams offense on the other side of the ball that will score points on this Titans defense too. So that's kind of the rationalization for McNichols is that could happen. So that's kind of a risk with Peterson as well.
Yep. Also, Zach was just following up his question from the super, but whoops. But Baker at quarterback over Jordan Love and Tyrod desperate at quarterback with 2 in Colorado. I'd actually go Jordan Love. I mean, at the end of the day here, I still think I'm not going to make the argument always a talented player, but he's still a talented first-round quarterback, and he's going up against quite literally the worst defense right now in the NFL. So, I mean, at this point, we know that the Chiefs are going to put up points. The Packers are still a good team. The Packers still have an abundance of weapons. The Packers are still a well-run team to the point where I don't think there's a chance that Jordan Love completely implodes in your lineup. Now, is he going to be Aaron Rodgers? No,
The
he's not going to
risk
be.
is that AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones do the damage to the Chiefs defense. That's what the risk is with Jordan Love. It's not,
Yeah,
I highly doubt he's going to implode either. That's what the risk is that they score the touchdowns and Jordan Love, has like a 250-yard passing day with 1 touchdown and 1 pick or something. And he gives you, 12 points.
But the funny thing about that though is can we really say with confidence that Baker's going to do much better than
No,
that?
no, we can't. But I am kind of like low key buying into the like narrative that Baker might have a monster game in this one. I have no idea why. I just feel like addition by subtraction, no Odell Beckham Jr. anymore. But what do I know? I would also go with Jordan Love if faced with that decision.
And again, yeah, I appreciate the super chat. Another one from Parker, $1.99. T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Waddle, and Beasley pick 3. Out of these 4 options,
I'm sitting Jalen Waddle with no Tua now. I'm sitting Jalen Waddle.
That was the tough choice for me between Waddle and Beasley, but I think I would also sit Jalen Waddle without Tua in this game, even though on the surface playing in that game is going to be pretty nutty, but without Tua obviously affecting it. Again, appreciate the super chat, but let's go back.
I got the former spot. Yeah,
perfect. Okay.
All right. Christian says who to flex: Golladay, Robbie Anderson, or KJ Osborne, or Russell Gage. Okay, so I mean, none of these guys are good options. I take the upside of Kenny Golladay.
Yep,
I think I would go with him.
Go with Kenny. So we actually left off on Austin. We had another super chat. Appreciate that. Another $5 from Reese. I'm looking good having played JT. Yeah, JT absolutely went off on Thursday. So shout out there. Should I go Elijah Mitchell or Zach Moss? Also, Marvin Jones Jr. or Dan Arnold in a full PPR? Happy Sunday. So for the first part of this question, Mitchell
play
or
it
Moss?
safe and go with Zach Moss, I think.
Agreed. Yeah. Especially with having that JT blow up. Yeah, I would go with Moss as well. I mean, if Moss is not going to be able to do damage against that Jags defense, he's just not going to have a game where he does damage, period. So, I expect the Bills to probably be
like Moss is going to be in a game situation where his team is projected implied point total is over 30 points. Like anytime you can say that about a team, you're always best to play anybody that you can play.
Well, I mean, you got the bread and butter scenario here. I mean, you got a team that's projected over 30 points and a team that, from a point spread perspective, on the road is 14.5 road favorite. So theoretically here, game sense wise, he should be in a good game spread, period. The Bills are a much better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I agree there. I would go with Moss. In terms of the second question, though,
I'd go with Jones. I think Jones is probably still the better play.
Agree with that. So again, Reese, appreciate the $5 super chat. Hopefully you can win in the Dynasty League so I don't have to worry about competition for my draft picks.
For sure. Yeah, I got to play Nate's favored by a good amount this week because I have no Barkley and no AB and a couple guys
He's
on bye.
7-1, right?
He's 6-2, I think.
Yeah. That's good for him, man. Like I think he's in first place right now. So
yeah, he's got Cup, so that's all you really need at this point.
Pooks 2 times, another $4.99 super chat. Appreciate that a lot. He says Mike Will, Lamb, Landry, Ayuk, AP, McNichols, Chubb, Dearness picked 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex in a PPR league. So to answer your first question, the 2 wide receivers I would pick personally would be the first 2 you got there, Mike Will.
The flex is Landry for me too, pretty easily.
Yep. And the flex would be Landry. In terms of the 2
Chubb's
running backs,
easily the RB1, and then I'd
go
AP as the RB2. PPR makes it a little closer between him and McNichols, but I would still go AP there.
Yep. And again, appreciate that $4.99 super chat. But we got Nate. We'll go back up to the questions. We got Nate in here. Good luck this week, Bush. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna need it. I'm on underdog. Austin says I gave Akers a second, another second for Patterson, a first and a third. I'm win now. How did I do? As a win now team, I don't hate that. I'm a little intrigued by Akers now. Now that he's kind of ahead of schedule, that's making me a little nervous about trading him now because from a value perspective, he's going to gain some steam as the offseason goes along and once he's like back healthy. So I think you could have gotten more for Akers if you waited a month or 2.
Yeah, and again, I don't think this is the worst deal at all either. Basically, if I were to equate these values, whether you want to make the 22 second or the 23 second basically pretty equal to Patterson, I think that's probably about right. Get the slight downgrade from one of those seconds to the third, and then say you're equating Akers to the first. I think the first is probably a more safe asset, while Akers probably has more upside. So I think this is a fair deal. And again, if you're competing, Patterson should be an RB2 type rest of the season. You're getting a first back out of it. So worst case scenario, if it implodes, you have an extra first round pick. So
I wish
don't
I
mind.
would, if you had gotten Fournette or somebody with a little bit more long-term appeal than a
Yeah,
guy like Patterson, I would have liked this deal a lot more. That's my only complaint with it is that Patterson is like 30 years old and he's
yep,
not really been fantasy relevant up until this year. So that makes me a little nervous. If you got Leonard Fournette or, Damian Harris or somebody that has a little bit more long-term value as a short-term asset, I probably would have preferred that, but not a bad deal overall.
for sure. And can you mark where we left down
Yeah.
after
Yeah,
also?
I got it.
We actually got another 4.99 super chat from David. Appreciate that a lot. He says Devonta Smith or Adrian Peterson. I'm afraid because Hurts doesn't throw the freaking ball. Shaking my head. Yeah, it does hurt. Pun intended. That Hurts has just been wildly inaccurate these last few weeks, to say the least. But either way, like I would kind of want to see Adrian Peterson's role before I trust him in my lineup over a guy even like Devonta Smith. He hasn't been playing well. I'm not gonna I'm not going to credit him for playing well at all these last few weeks, but he's still the number one wide receiver in his offense. When this passing offense is humming and hoeing, Devonta Smith's going to be a key part of that. So I do think that this
And
is a
like I
week that
said, both of the
we're not
starting
going to crack.
corners on the outside for the Chargers
Yeah,
are out.
yeah. So I would go with Devonta Smith, and I'm assuming you're the exact same. So.
Yeah.
Side note, we don't have our mod actually in the stream right now, but I'm just going to say this right now to all of you guys that are repeating your questions over and over and over again, specifically Landon Lombardi. Cut that shit, man.
Just
Honestly.
dude, just literally like mute them for a couple minutes. That's why I do. I don't even say it. I just do it.
Yeah, that's smart. But either way, like we go in order, so we'll
Yeah.
get to you.
The best lesson you can take away from this is to turn our notifications on so that you're the
Yeah.
first one in here. That's the best lesson that you can take away with this, because
Uh,
obviously if you get in here early, you'll get your question answered. Ayuk or Bateman, I'd go with Ayuk there personally.
Quickly, we actually got 2 super chats, but I would also go with Bateman, full PPR. Appreciate that.
I'd go with Ayuk.
I would go with Bateman.
Yeah,
We
I'd
know
go with Ayuk just because we got Debo and Kittle both potentially on pitch counts.
You want to make that a
You know,
bet?
the usage readjusted itself. Yeah, we could do that.
I bet. I'll trust Lamar Jackson and Bateman going up against the same Minnesota Vikings secondary.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. It's a good idea to trust Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's fair. But either way, they'll be close. But I prefer Bateman. Either way, we got 2 super chats here from Brad, $1.99. Appreciate that a lot. He says PPR pick 1, Agnew, Kirk, Mooney, Tony. This one's actually pretty easy for me. Listen, AJ Green's out, DeAndre Hopkins out. I'm gonna go with Christian Kirk.
Really, you'd start Kirk over Tony?
Yeah, especially with Kenny Galladay coming back.
I have them close. I have Tony. I literally have them back to back. I have Tony at 32 and Kirk at 33. It's it's a close discussion. If Kyler Murray plays, then I would be more likely to play Kirk. But I personally would I would go with Kadarius Toney here.
I have Kirk relatively high. He's actually my wide receiver 30 this week.
Yeah, I have them both like at wide receiver 32 and 33 respectively. So they're both inside the top 36 for me. And to answer your second question, I would go with Carlos Hyde with James Robinson out.
Agreed there. But side note, I actually don't mind the aspect of Kenyon Drake this week going up against the Giants. I'm actually starting him in one of my leagues, so maybe it's a little biased. But
that's very biased. I was like, I like Nyheim Hines this week, and I'm like talking myself into it because I had to start him. But I mean, to be fair, it was good rationale. Like he had a very easy matchup against the Jets defense.
I'll actually ask you this one: who would you start, Kenyon Drake or Adrian Peterson?
Adrian Peterson, easily.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll trust you on that one. But either way, I kind of got screwed last second because I was planning on Hubbard being my RB2 this week, and then CMC got rumored to come back. So I'm like,
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Well. We got another super chat, $4.99 from D's Nuts. Got him. He says start 3 wide receivers: Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, Landry, or Renfro. I would go with the first 3 that you listed there and sit Renfro.
Yeah, even despite the the additional targets, like the one thing that I will say about Henry Ruggs not being there is Henry Ruggs was like a 13% target share, like a 4 to 5 target per game guy. He's not opening up DeAndre Hopkins target share, like what we're seeing in Arizona right now. So Ruggs being gone, maybe Renfro gets an extra target or 2, maybe Waller gets an extra target or 2, maybe Edwards gets an extra target or 2, but that's about it. They're not getting, a 28% target share opened up in their offense.
Yep, for sure. We got another one quickly, $1.99 from Robert. Appreciate that. AP, Herbert, or Galladay, full PPR. Out of these options,
I take Galladay, man. I think I would take Galladay there. I know it's kind of sketchy because he's coming back from a multi-week injury, but I don't trust either of those other options enough to play them over a guy, especially in full PPR where both Herbert and AP probably don't have too much value, especially with Montgomery probably playing. I would go with Galladay there. I got to move him up in my rankings too because I've kind of answered him a couple times now.
For sure, I agree. And I already kind of mentioned this on the stream, but Oliver, we're going in order, brother. If you
Yeah,
don't want to
we
wait,
are.
there's 95 people in the stream, brother.
Yeah.
At the end of the day here, people.
The nice thing, the unfortunate thing about us growing a little bit over the past couple of months is that it is hard for us to answer all the questions, but we're doing our best around here.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day here, like we hope everybody in here wins their matchups. We hope everybody in here we're able to give advice to prompt. You know what I'm trying to say,
Yeah,
pronto.
yeah.
But like, it's hard when we get a lot of comments. So
Yeah.
the people that willingly donate, obviously, they're gonna skip the line. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Anyways, let's get back to
So
where we left off.
yeah, I got it.
left
We
off,
got PPR, Dan Arnold or Albert O. This is a pretty close decision. They're both guys that I like this week. I'd go with Albert O, though. I think the game script's better.
I agree. I slightly lean Alberto here, but I actually don't mind. Like Dan Arnold's gonna be in my top 15 this week, and if I see another week where he's at that 19% target share since he joined the Jags, like I don't mind locking and loading him into my top 12 every week if I keep.
Yeah, he's a guy that I could see you ranking over Higbee, over Hunter Henry, guys like that, because they don't get enough targets to command that. With Arnold, he's getting 6-7 targets a game pretty much. So that's pretty rare volume at the tight end position, especially in this range. But Albert O, like Noah Fant was running 90% of the routes when Albert O was on IR for 3 weeks. So the fact that Noah Fant is out, I have to assume that Albert O is going to probably run that same role. So yeah, he's a guy that I'm okay starting in both season long and DFS this week. Damian Harris, Devontae Booker, Boston Scott. I'd go with Devontae Booker
Harris. I go with Harris.
Really? You'd go Harris over Booker, even despite the matchup?
They're close. They're probably both like RB 15, 16. I actually think that's exactly where I have them.
I have Booker at 14 and Damian Harris at 22. I don't even have him close.
You're low on Harris.
I am low on Harris. I don't trust the Panthers. The Panthers' run defense is no joke.
Hey, I don't mind it, but you know what? We already have one bet. We may as well make that a bet then. Harris,
yeah, let's do it.
Booker. And I don't even mind Booker. I think like honestly, they're probably like back to back in my rankings regardless. So like I'll take Harris though. Either way, we left off of Miguel, and when we get back from the super chat, let's try to like speed it up.
Yeah, we'll try and run through as many. We are very behind right now, but again, appreciate all you guys joining us. Us being very behind means a lot of you guys are interacting.
I appreciate you guys. Hurts or Cousins, I appreciate the 4.99 super chat. I would actually go with Jalen Hurts here. I know that he was bad last week, but I trust him. Get back on track. Obviously, Corey mentioned that the Chargers are missing their top 2 corners this week, but either way, like Jalen Hurts, regardless, already has a higher floor than Cousins because of his rushing. So I would go with Hurts. But yeah, I appreciate that 4.99 super chat.
Yeah, also, I would also go with Jalen Hurts too. The game scripts is way better.
Quickly, I want to say too, for those of you that are in the stream right now, please don't repeat the comments. Don't say the same things over and over again, because at the end of the day here, we're trying to cycle through as fast as possible. And sometimes like getting through that mud, especially.
We also like don't really remember if you've repeated some of the time too. So it just, takes up more of our time to answer repeated comments. But again, we'll stop lecturing. Let's just run through some of these. I want to trade for Knox or Kittle in Dynasty. What picks are they worth? I would say Kittle is a perfect trade target in Dynasty right now because his value is kind of low. He's kind of been out of sight, out of mind for the last couple of weeks. Kittle, I'm okay giving up a first plus like a decent, young wide receiver or something like that for George Kittle.
For Knox, I'm probably not going to do anything much more than like an early to mid second.
Yeah, honestly. That's probably honestly, I probably wouldn't trade for Knox right now. I think his value is too high, and it's. There could be a world where Knox continues to grow and that value continues to get better. But I personally I think he's going to be a little bit more like, 1 year wonder type. I'm not necessarily convinced that he's going to be like an elite tight end option the next couple of years.
For sure. So let's rapid fire here. Pick one, Tony, Judy, or Harris at flex.
Judy.
I'll go with Judy here. Yep. Full PPR, which 3? Chase, Brown, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen.
Give me Chase, Brown, and Keenan Allen.
I agree with that. And I appreciate that. Good luck with your matchup as well, Light. Full PPR for my flex question. Yeah, okay. That was the Alberto. I would go with Alberto. What quarterbacks would you guys consider streaming this week? Is Cousins fine? I don't mind Cousins. Again,
Cousins is a fine streamer this week.
I expect the Vikings-Ravens to be a game that puts up points. And at the end of the day here, we know Kirk Cousins, regardless of like whether or not if he's in this type of matchup, he's going to put up points. Sorry, I'm completely drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry for anybody who's listening to that mumble jumbo.
Yeah, I got the next one here. Domo says Rondale Moore or Kenny Golladay, no, or AJ Green or D Hop. I'd go Rondale Moore there.
Yep, I agree there. That question didn't even go up on my screen. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%
Yeah, there's a couple that are like kind of like hidden almost. It's weird.
Joe
Darrell Williams or Gore, half PPR,
Williams.
easily Darrell Williams,
Yeah,
easily. I know
easily.
Gore scored a touchdown, but he was still like not the primary back on the team.
Yep.
Troy says, do I dare shove CMC into this lineup? Justin Herbert, AK, Dalvin Cook, Tyreek Hill. Jesus Christ, your lineup is good. No,
Keep
I
that
wouldn't.
lineup.
I would keep that as it is, and I highly doubt you're going to lose with that lineup.
Yeah, geez.
Did I win Amari Cooper and Elijah Mitchell to receive Tony Pollard, Higgins, and Josh Jacobs? So you traded away Amari Cooper and Elijah Mitchell, I'm guessing?
I don't like it.
I mean, I don't mind, selling high on Elijah Mitchell. I just think you maybe could have gotten a little bit more than that. But I don't think that's a terrible deal to make. I think Pollard and Higgins about equivalent to Amari Cooper, I would say, and I would rather have Josh Jacobs than Elijah Mitchell rest of the season personally. And that might be a hot take for some people, but I would rather have Jacobs. I know his role is a little bit more secured than Mitchell's.
That's fair. But to be fair, I mean, your name is Teagan. You had to go get T. So
yeah, that's big facts. Yeah. Augustin says Darrell Williams, Zach Moss, Javonte Williams. Injuries are killing me. Yeah, I agree with you. Injuries are also killing me. Darrell Williams, Zach Moss are the two that I'm going with there.
Yep. I agree.
Pick one PPR, Moore or Galladay. Give me Rondale Moore there. Sanders or Beasley. Which do I start? Again, you're kind of rolling the dice with those guys. You never really know which one's going to have the big play, which one's going to catch all the passes. I would go with Sanders just for the upside of the big play in this matchup. But again, I think they're both great starts. I have both of them inside my top 30 wide receivers.
Yep. And Landon, I put you in timeout for 5 minutes already, and you come back in and you keep spamming again. So I'm going to have to block.
Starting lineup this week: Dak, Justin Jefferson, D Hop, Boston Scott, Booker, Goddard, and Higgins. I have Ayuk. Do I make any changes? I guess it looks like you have to start Boston Scott because he is one of your running backs. So I personally wouldn't make any changes. I think you got the best possible lineup there. One. DraftKings, what's your lineup? I have 6 lineups on DraftKings. I max entered a $33 contest because I won like $175 on Thursday night on a showdown lineup. So I'm putting up some big money this week on DraftKings. I got like $200 in play. So I got hopefully I win some money on top of that.
Yep. Here I agree. I actually don't have a lineup this week, but Claypool, Renfro, or Kadarius Toney, pick one. I'll go with Claypool there.
Yep, I will as well. CMC is back to us. No, you start Darrell Henderson there.
Yeah.
Who do you think has a better game, Moore or Kirk? It's honestly a toss-up. I have no idea which one Colt McCoy is going to favor. They're both going to play a lot. I would go with Rondale Moore just because I think he's the better player, but Kirk is more of the downfield guy, so it's only going to take him one play to hit value.
I slightly prefer Kirk here, but I mean, that's only because I've seen him work ahead of Rondale Moore. Now, obviously, with AJ Green and Hopkins off the field.
Like, I still have Kirk rated higher than Moore. So if I had to choose who to start, I would start Kirk. But I think Moore is just,
Rondale's got a better ceiling.
He's got a better ceiling because he's just a better player, in my opinion. So,
yep.
Should I trade Kamara and Sutton for Tyreek and Patterson? Sutton is on my bench. My other running backs are Eckler and Henderson. My wide receivers are Diggs and Keenan Allen. I'd rather have Kamara because you got Eckler, Kamara, and Henderson. That is just an absolutely fierce running back core. I'd rather just stick with that.
Agree with that. DDT, full point PPR, Waddle or Keenan Allen. Give me
Keenan Allen, not even close.
Yep.
Especially with 2 out now. We already got to
that.
Yeah. Vegas or Chargers D. So Vegas plays the Giants and Daniel Jones. Chargers defense play Jalen Hurts. Give me the Chargers defense. I think they're probably a better option. It's a little sketchy with their corners out, but I'd rather play the Chargers.
Full PPR, should I flex Marquise Brown or Josh Jacobs?
Marquise Brown. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's a funny trade that happened last Sunday. Someone traded for Derrick Henry, Antonio Brown, and Waddle. Oh man. He traded away Zeke Elliott and Aaron Jones. That is brutal. I think he probably won that trade even at the time. The Zeke Elliott and Aaron Jones guy would have preferred that side even without Derrick Henry being out.
Damn. Gustavo for the win. GG.
Yeah, big facts. We already got Brian's question there. Okay, yeah, we got this guy asking the question a bunch of times, putting you in timeout. Yeah. Putting Brian in timeout. This is what I do. I just do it.
People wonder why we're behind. Like we
just who I think we already answered Zach here too. Deontay Woods, Cooks. I think we both. I'd go with the first two there.
Yep.
Conklin or Kittle, Hyde or Boston. So Kittle, I know he's gonna be on a pitch count, but I'd rather start him than Conklin.
Yep,
I'd go with Kittle there. Hyde or Boston Scott. I would go with
Hyde for me.
I'd go with Hyde. Yeah, give me Hyde, especially in full PPR. Bateman or AJ Dillon. Give me Bateman there.
Not even close.
Start one of Tony, Ayuk, Myers, Sutton, full PPR. Give me Kadarius. Give me Cortland Sutton.
I go Sutton. Yeah.
Judy,
Waddle,
Waddle,
me too for
Gainwell.
flex PPR. I would go with Judy
I'd go
for
with the two
sure.
Bama receivers. Actually, I guess there's 3 on this list, but give me Judy and Devontae Smith there. Actually, oh wait, hold on, I didn't see T
Judy and
Higgins there.
Higgins.
Give me Judy and T Higgins.
Yep. We already answered that, Vinny, but let me get one out of Hurts, Cousins, or Carr. I'll go with Hurts here. This guy.
Yeah.
This guy. Flex McNichols or Devontae Smith today. I'm so fucking torn. I would go with Devontae Smith pretty
Yeah,
easily.
again, it's tough given Devontae Smith's recent performances. We've gotten a lot of Devontae Smith questions, but you got to kind of look at it a week-over-week basis. His usage is still good. The matchup, pace of play, everything is there for Devontae Smith to have a good game this week.
So we actually got 2 super chats that were hidden. $2 from Marshall. Appreciate that a lot. Tony or Gaskin full PPR. I'd go with Kadarius Toney here over Miles Gaskin.
That's tough, man. Gaskin's got a really good matchup, but I think I would go with Kadarius Toney as well.
And again, I appreciate that $2 super chat. And another one, $1.99 from King Marcelo. He says Saints D or Pat, Kittle on a pitch, or Arnold, Albert PPR. So for the first question,
that's like that's right in the area, like that tight end question of where you got to make that Kittle decision, because those guys are good options, but they're not great options. So I would say I personally would go with Dan Arnold in PPR over George Kittle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind making that move, especially with the pitch count. I think Arnold's going to be fine. Actually, I would prefer Albert over both of them. Alberto.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even see that part of it. Yeah, give me Alberto over both of them. Yeah.
For the first question, Saints or Pats D. I'll slightly prefer the Saints D, but like they're both going to be really good this week.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints D there
against Atlanta at home, especially with a bad quarterback on their end with Trevor Siemian. Like you're going to have to rely on your defense. You're going to win that game, and Saints D probably a top 5 defense in the NFL in real life, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we leave off, by the way?
I got it. Michael Brown says, who should I start at flex, Tony or Claypool? Give me Chase Claypool there, Michael. Pick 2, please and thank you. Great manners, by the way. Give me. I'd take Elijah Mitchell as one of them, even though he's going to be somewhat limited. I'd take him for sure, and then I'd probably go with Javonte just over Herbert, just because again we don't know. Like we don't know if Montgomery's going to play right now, so I think I'd just make the executive decision there.
Yeah, I mean,
like, actually, Javonte, you know what? I probably would go. I'd probably go McNichols, because then you might be able to wait until Sunday night. We might hear if Montgomery's going to play or not.
I don't mind that, actually.
That's the only reason I would say that, because like in a vacuum, I would take Javonte over Jeremy McNichols, but maybe we hear later today before the Sunday night game that Montgomery is activated and he's playing.
Yep, for sure. So let's try to
let's speed through here. Got offered a second next year, mid to late third for Bryan Edwards, 2 and a 3 for Edwards. Give me the picks.
Not even close.
Yeah,
by the way, I traded. He says, "Nice to see Tavares looks like his old self." Yeah.
Oh yeah, you love to see that. Yeah, it was a good game.
Marco was at the game yesterday in Toronto, and they just got shellacked because he's a Bruins fan, right?
Yeah.
Shellacked.
Yeah.
I traded away Evans away for Diggs. I love that move. As much as I love Evans, I mean,
yeah, give me Diggs still. Peterson, Bateman or Myers. Give me Bateman. Daniel looking rough. LOL. Choose one: Bateman, Renfro, Smith, and then choose. Okay, so give me Devontae Smith there, and then at running back. That's kind of a gross question. Give me the upside of David Johnson. Honestly, give me David Johnson potentially getting that full feature workload. The one thing I did say about David Johnson coming into the week is that they were getting shellacked. David Johnson and Phillip Lindsay didn't see a single touch after the second quarter because they were getting destroyed so bad. So I'll take David Johnson just at the upside that he does get the feature workload in this game.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that, but I do see
it should be a lot closer of a game. Tua's not playing. Like the Texans or the Dolphins are also a bad team. I think David Johnson has a better game this week.
I agree. However, I do see a scenario where AJ Dillon rips like 13 for like 85.
He definitely could just steal a touchdown and beat it. Yeah.
CMC, even though he's not 100%, I need to know your other options.
He says, or I'm guessing that's Darrell Williams. I would, that's like right exactly where I have CMC ranked, but I would play CMC over Darrell Williams. Yeah.
Bateman or Bryan Edwards. I would go with Bateman there.
Yep.
Roll with San Fran defense. I need a stream for the week.
Yeah, against Colt McCoy, I think that's a good play.
Against Colt McCoy, it's not bad. Pick one: Jeff Wilson, Hyde, or Mike Davis. I'll go with Carlos Hyde here.
Yeah, me too.
Marquise or CD.
That is a close question. I gotta look.
I'll go CD, but like I think Marquise can be really good too.
I have Marquise higher. I'd go with Marquise simply. Yeah, let's do it. I'd go Marquise simply because you do have the risk of re-injury for CeeDee Lamb. Again, it's not likely. I don't think he's going to be a decoy necessarily, but there's that underlying risk that Marquise doesn't have. So I'll take Marquise Brown there.
What are the bets we have? So CD versus
We had Bateman versus Ayuk, I think, as well.
Yep. We had a quarterback one, I think.
I don't remember if we did. Anyway, McNichols or Javonte Williams, flex full PPR. Give me Javonte Williams there.
Yep, agree there.
Hyde or Devontae. Give me Devontae Smith there, Ron. What's up, guys? Late, but I'm here. What's up, Leonardo?
We're late.
Yeah, we just got offered Chubb and Godwin, and I'll be giving up Patterson and Evans. Give me Chubb and Godwin there.
Yeah, I agree there.
Should I take it? Yes, you should. I'm not.
I don't mind. Like again, I think Cooks is a fine play. Like top 25-ish wide receiver with obviously again like
I think he's referring to the question where we said we'd take Woods over him. I'm assuming I would rather play Woods. His matchup is just so good. I can't not play Robert Woods in that game against Tennessee. So yeah, I still think Cooks is a top 20 receiver this week though.
Devonta Smith or Adrian Peterson, I'm afraid Hurts doesn't.
Yeah, we already answered that, but yeah, Devontae Smith or David. I think he super chatted that question actually. Yeah. Should I start Cooks over Keenan Allen? I would start Keenan Allen there.
Yeah. Let's go. Happy Sunday, boys. Good luck, everyone. Appreciate that. Funny question. Should I go with Herbert?
No, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert easily. Yeah. There's no way I'm sitting Justin Herbert this week.
Could you rank Goddard, Schultz, and Gesicki in full PPR? Thanks, guys. Personally, for me, with the
I have Goddard the highest of those guys.
With the Parker news, to be fair, Tua's hurt as well.
Yeah, with Tua not playing, I would probably I probably still would go Goddard even if Tua was playing.
If Tua was playing, I'd slightly lean Gesicki.
I actually do have these guys 5, 6, and 7 in my tight end rankings though.
I believe
literally right back to back for me.
I believe I have it the exact same. Let me just take a look. They're gonna be the exact same now that I have to move Kittle down.
Yeah, I have Goddard, Schultz, Gesicki is the order I have them in.
Goddard, Gesicki, Schultz for me, but with the Tua news, I'm probably going to move Schultz over Gesicki.
So, Schultz also, if you guys need a contrarian play in DFS, phenomenal play this week in my opinion, because he's a bit more expensive than Goddard, who's like mega chalk at tight end this week, and with the receivers a little banged up, Cowboys are implied for like 28 points or 29 points per Vegas right now. Give me Schultz easily, and Dak is obviously back, and he wasn't last week. So
and obviously, again, I'm not a big DFS guy, but if you think about it from a contrarian standpoint, people that are stacking the Cowboys are going to be stacking Dak, CD, and Amari, or Dak, CD, and freaking Zeke. If you substitute Schultz into that stack, you know how contrarian that is going to be to the field. Not a lot of people are going to have a lot of Schultz. So I
actually have a Sunday Million lineup with a Dalton Schultz Dak mini stack with a Judy run back.
I respect that. Also, I love the call there of Judy over Sutton this week because Judy obviously in the slot. Probably Sutton's going to see a lot of digs. So yeah, I agree there. Judy should see a good amount of Jordan Lewis. So there's that.
Yep.
PPR pick one: Bateman, Kirk, Mooney, or Tony. I have Kirk the highest here, I believe. Yeah, I do. I'd go with Kirk. Oh, that was the other one.
I have Tony the highest actually, so I'd go. That was the other one. Yeah.
Bateman or Ayuk full PPR. I got Bateman. He's got Ayuk.
Yeah.
Is Elijah Moore viable waiver?
Absolutely. Number one pickup on the week for sure.
I'm going to talk about it obviously on the waiver show, but man, like Elijah Moore's used.
I told you guys to stash him before this game. I actually said, I'm like, yo, if Elijah Moore is available on your waiver wire, go get him because I got a weird feeling that this is the game that he goes off.
Yep.
And shout out to him. He won me $175. So.
Yep.
Marvin Jones or Christian Kirk. All right, we're gonna head off of here in like a couple minutes, so we have time to set our lineup.
After this, it didn't show up.
Oh, okay. Marvin Jones or Christian Kirk. Give me Marvin Jones there, Tyler.
I go with Kirk here.
Really, eh?
Kirk over Marvin, yeah. But either way, sorry, we got a $1.99 super chat from James. Well, appreciate that. Must have missed it because it didn't show up. But Ben Roethlisberger, Daniel Jones. I would go with Daniel Jones personally over Big Ben.
I also would go with Daniel Jones for sure. That's where I would be going there. Let's try and rip through as many as we can here before 8 minutes to 1 p.m. so we have time to set our lineups. For flex, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers. Give me Hunter Renfrow there, Frank. Hyde or Drake. Give me Carlos Hyde. Devontae Booker or Khalil Herbert. Give me Devontae Booker. Appreciate that. Herbert, Mooney, or Ayuk. He says, give me Ayuk there.
Ayuk, yes.
Start 3 wide receivers. Go with the first 3 there. I actually super chatted that question, but yeah, go to the first 3. Should I start Cooks over Keenan Allen? No, you should start Keenan Allen. Tony or Waddle at flex. I'd go with Tony now that Tua is not starting.
Yep, I agree with that. Pick 2 wide receiver flex: Bateman, Higgins, Scott, Woods, Edwards, Ayuk, Williams.
Give me the flex is going to be Darrell Williams for me. And T.
Higgins
Higgins and Woods are the receivers for me.
correct. I agree with that.
Mike White, fantasy football MVP this year. Big facts.
He looked good on that drive.
So give me for this question, give me Boston Scott.
I'd go AP over Scott.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's close. They're both kind of like fringe, RB2s that I have like at the high end RB3 range. Christian Kirk or Marvin Jones. Like I said, I would go with Marvin Jones there. Elijah Mitchell or Emmanuel Sanders. Give me Emmanuel Sanders, especially in PPR. Let me get booted, bro. Boston Scott or Elijah Mitchell. That's close now that Elijah Mitchell's limited, but I'd still go with Mitchell, I think.
Yeah, I agree there. Hey guys, flex Mike Williams or Mixon in PPR.
Mixon with Mike Williams against Darius Slay. Give me Joe Mixon there.
Yep, I agree there.
Jimmy G or Brissett. That is a disgusting decision that you have to make. Give me Jimmy Garoppolo though.
I agree.
Pick 3, full PPR: Claypool, Lamb, Sanders, Devontae Smith. I'm sitting Devontae Smith there.
Judy or Hyde for flex PPR. Give me Judy there, Mike.
Yeah.
Mitchell, Sanders, or Devontae Smith
Sanders.
in PPR. Yep, I agree there. Got 2 quarterback league and Kyler is out. I have the option of Love. Yeah, I would go with Love there, Oliver. Hopefully you're still in the stream because that was from before. Ertz or Higbee. I'd go with. That's a with the receivers out. I think I'm actually leaning Ertz.
I would go with Higbee. He just has like a much better opportunity for touchdown. But I do agree. I probably need to move Ertz up a little bit now that those receivers are out.
Yep. CMC or Damian Harris, full point PPR. At this point, I would go with CMC. This is about like the RB2 range where I would feel comfortable playing CMC even if he was at 50% snaps.
Yeah.
Gaskin Dog, Cole, I would say Ertz. I agree. With Monty back, thoughts on Herbert going forward?
High, like mid RB4, high end handcuff type.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be very involved. He's probably going to just absorb what Damian Williams was doing before David Montgomery.
That's what I was going to say too. Like, and we saw like Williams had a couple relevant weeks where he had like 10 to 12 opportunities, but nothing consistent. Like keep him like probably like a low end version of what we see from like a guy like AJ Dillon. So
yeah.
Thanks guys. Anytime there, Brad. Gaskin, Harris or Williams.
I'd go Darrell Williams there.
I agree there.
Okay, let's answer like 5 more and then we're gonna head off of here. Full PPR, pick 2: DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Hunter Renfrow. I will go with the first 2 there. Carsoni, Jefferson or Marquise Brown. That is a very tough decision, but give me Justin Jefferson there, not Eli.
I agree. Yeah, we're moving up in the world. Appreciate you for still tuning in for us, Juan.
Yeah. Trust Elijah Mitchell injured. Give me Melvin Gordon there. I would go with Melvin Gordon now that Elijah Mitchell is injured. Used to be answered in seconds. Big fact. Yeah. Edmonds, Beasley, Mitchell, full PPR. Give me Cole Beasley there.
Yeah, I agree there.
Him and Edmonds is pretty close though.
Also, I just wanted to quickly say again, obviously before we head off, appreciate all of you guys in the chat that are trying to help each other out. Like if somebody asks a question, helping out, just say who you would start. Because honestly, like again, we're always going to try our best to get to every single question in the stream. But as you guys know, as we've said basically multiple times in the stream, it's hard to do that at this point. So anytime you feel like if we answered your question, try to pay it forward to the newest guys in the chat if you can, because it helps.
Plus, it's easy for us too to notice those comments and just kind of skip over them.
Absolutely. But we actually got one more super chat from Juan here, $1.99. Appreciate that. He says, "Is D Hop still a start if able to start more Cook?" So D Hop, I believe, is officially out. No, he didn't even.
Yeah, he is. He has been officially ruled out.
So if that's the case, picking between Moore or Kirk, I have Kirk higher. But if you need upside, say you're down in your matchup, whatever, the person had JT, the person had Michael Pittman, Carson Wentz, whatever, on Thursday Night Football, I don't mind with going Rondo over Kirk if you need pure upside. But if I had to go apples to apples, I had to pick one, I would go with Kirk.
Yep. Real quick before we head off here, I'm just going to show you guys Sunday Million lineup that I'm working through right now. I'm currently I'm kind of like playing like a contrarian lineup right now because Joe Burrow in the passing game is not expected to be highly owned here. So I did talk about Chase Edmonds as a guy that I really like this week, as somebody that I don't think is going to get a lot of steam. So I'm going to go with him as my RB2 here with Alvin Kamara, paying up for him, obviously paying up for Jamar Chase. And I'm going with CJ Uzama as the double stack with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And then I think I ran it back with somebody on the Cleveland side. Maybe I didn't. Oh, I did. Jarvis Landry on the other side of things. So I have 8,700 left, which is a whole lot of salary. And I'm going to go with Ty Freak in the flex spot here. So this
Yeah,
is my
right.
Sunday million lineup for the week. Let's see if it wins some money this week. Hopefully, I win $1 million off that lineup because I did have to fade a lot of the chalky plays: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. In a big contest like this, it just doesn't serve you to even play those guys, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree.
Like, to
But
some extent, you want to play a bit of chalk because it is, it's chalk for a reason. It's probably a good play, but I usually in a Sunday million contest, I try and go contrarian just because it's a $5 entry. I might as well burn a lot of the field if that chalk doesn't hit.
yep, no, I definitely agree there. But either way, we're probably gonna wrap this up about 12:55. Obviously, we got to set our own lineups. You guys got to set your lineups. My Cowboys play
Also,
at
if any
1.
news came out, please leave it in the chat while we were streaming. It'll help us set our own lineups because we know where we have certain players. So I'm going to look through all mine right now just to make sure that I do have
And again,
everything set up.
as always, if we helped you out at all in this stream, leave a like, helps us a lot. 61 current likes. Appreciate all of you that have hit that like button. Very good ratio right now. So either
Here's
way,
a question for you, real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Would you start Robbie Anderson or Dan Arnold in your flex?
go Arnold.
What if you're already starting Marvin Jones?
I'd go Arnold still. Like
Really? Eh?
Robbie gets less volume than Arnold.
I know, but like PJ Walker's playing plus Christian McCaffrey's back. I feel like the offense is going to be better. I don't know. I got a gut feeling that this could be a Robbie Anderson week. I don't know why. Maybe it's a stupid plan, but I don't know. The smarter play probably is Dan Arnold, but
Side
I am
note,
going to roll with Robbie.
Ryan, what was your question? Because if we had it on the screen and skipped it, that's our bad. Just
You can ask it again if it did get skipped.
Go ahead, quickly leave it, and then we'll head off because I didn't even realize. Feel free to drop that in, and we'll quickly answer it because again, got about 4 minutes here before kickoff.
Andrews,
Uh,
Cousins.
Oh, I would go with Cousins.
Yeah, sorry. I saw the Joe's question. Andrews or Conklin, easily Andrews there.
Yep, agree with that.
I think my lineups are good here.
Go with Cousins over Carr too. Yeah, sorry about that, but either way, appreciate all of you in here. Quickly ask that. If not, feel free to DM either of us on Twitter. You guys can see the Twitter's on the screen. Oh, wrong picture. So I'm at Danny Football 59 on Twitter. Corey's at Football Stock. If you have any questions, especially like if it's more so 4:00 games, night games, tomorrow game, etc., we're gonna be more easily able to answer those on Twitter. But yeah. Anyways, pleasure doing the stream. Peace out, y'all.